Here on my channel, I often bring up whether the person I'm talking about is a caring person or not. It often just comes down to that. And for the last few weeks, I've been pointing out the clear reality that one political party in the United States seems to be the uncaring party. It's just become more clear now. But if you look back over decades, you can see that to be conservative means to care about yourself and anyone connected with you, and not other people, because their philosophy is those people can care about themselves. And of course they're overlooking a lot of things because they don't care. Because they're sociopathic. I've been bringing that word up a lot lately. But even before politics, I did years of videos about animal rights and veganism. Not all vegans care about others or animals. And even the ones that do, I find some strange things. They often don't care about human animals, and they often don't care about politics, or at least they don't think they do. But when it comes down to the Republican Party, not caring is their philosophy. It's their personality. I last brought this up a few days ago in a video, that they don't care. You can't make people care. You have to stop voting for them. I mentioned that I've been collecting video clips where they're actually acknowledging they don't care. So let's take a look at all these clips I've been saving over the last few months. This is quite amazing. Starting off with the news anchor interviewing vegan Senator Cory Booker. Although it's not Cory here that says the relevant lines.
One of the things that's so disturbing, particularly about his reaction to the story about Russian bounties, is I think intersects with his reaction to COVID-19. He doesn't care. He just does not care about other people. In her book, Mary Trump talks about, kindness and compassion being seen as something that makes you weak.
We need our leaders to reflect that empathy and that decency and that kindness. And this president has not been doing it. He has made this cavalier meanness in our politics, this sort of derision and demeaning and degrading nature of our politics. It's so much worse. What we really need now is a resurgence of the truth of the American spirit. We're a nation of compassion, of empathy, and of grace.
The point that was made earlier that you can't admit mistakes is absolutely true. But is it even deeper than that, is that in order to be able to admit your mistakes, you have to care about the results of what you've done, of the mistake. But he doesn't care. The death.
Bingo! That's what I've been saying. He's uncaring, sociopathic. That's the common denominator.
So tens of thousands of Americans, it really doesn't matter to him. It's hard to believe that, but it's absolutely true. So if you don't care, then there's even less reason to admit a mistake, because what difference does it make to you? It doesn't hurt you.
Bill and Hillary, and they were going to Michigan. No, it's okay. No, forget it. That plays great before the election. No, we don't care, right?
I'm sorry, what?
What's amazing is, so he now thinks he's past coronavirus. So he goes back to, it's no big deal. If it affects me, it's a giant deal, right? If it doesn't affect me, before and after, I don't care. A certain percentage of people die, and you don't know if you're in that percentage. But you have to clarify these things, because the president is a schmuck who puts out messages like, don't be afraid of COVID, I feel great. Oh, God. And then he goes and hotboxes a couple of Secret Service agents in a car where they can't get out of it. And so now they got, by the way, all those agents that are exposed like that, they then got to get quarantined for 14 straight days. And now this is unprecedented. Secret Service agents leaking to the press going, what's he doing? Is he trying to get us killed? Well, how are we supposed to staff? He keeps going around everywhere maskless. It's unbelievable how he's endangering people. So
it's not though. It's not though. I mean, I'm actually amused at the shock and awe that you're seeing in the media right now. Donald Trump has proven over and over again that his top characteristic is that he will sacrifice anyone and anything if it benefits him even a little bit. The lives of those members of the Secret Service who had to be in that SUV with him, I mean, he hasn't even thought about it. It didn't even cross his mind. He does not care.
I don't care.
It just occurred to me that most of these clips I have are about Trump, or of Trump. I guess that's because he dominates the news, and he's willing to say what's on his mind, not cover it up. But make no mistake, Trump is the ultimate Republican conservative. When he first ran for president, a whole bunch of Republican voters said, all right, now we're talking. This is my kind of Republican. And he won the election out of 17 candidates.
Then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court.
What does that say to you, trying to take it seriously over whether he understands and upholds the obligations of his office, given how serious this is, how many people's lives it affects, the constitutional dimensions, people at the border, the military, as you mentioned, as he does it in what some critics are calling a kind of a really blasé nursery rhyme?
Well, you're assuming that Trump still has some moral center somewhere, and it's evident that he does not. He does not care about other people. He's a classic narcissist. He doesn't love this country, and he's right that it's going to end up in the Supreme Court, I think, and then we shall see the quality of the recently appointed justices, because this is so fundamental to our Constitution.
Joining us now is Dr. Lance Dotis, a former assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. He contributed to the book, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. In the new edition of that, the number is over 30. Dr. Dotis, thank you very much for joining us tonight. What is your reaction to what we just heard Mary Trump saying about what Donald Trump experiences in his lying?
I think that's absolutely right. There's a name for that. It's called sadism, which is defined by having pleasure from the suffering of others, from their pain or from their humiliation. And if you are the one causing that suffering, there's all the more pleasure in it. So the fact that Donald Trump is a sadist is completely consistent with everything else we know about him. And it's consistent with his being a psychopath. It's one of the kind of monstrous things about being a psychopath is that there's enjoyment at being vindictive, at destroying those who you think are your enemies.
Donald Trump's spiritual advisor named Paula White.
For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory.
At destroying those who you think are your enemies.
I ask, oh God, that you would take your iron rod, and I ask that you would smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president. He is not.
And do you remember this picture from years ago? This is Donald Trump's wife, which makes her your first lady. Recently, with that leaked phone conversation, we found out just how uncaring she is, even saying she doesn't give a fuck about Christmas.
And if you're also paranoid as he is, then almost everybody is your enemy. Trump's father was also a cruel, sadistic, racist, probably psychopathic man. So growing up with such a person, you learn to either be a victim or you learn to be a victimizer.
Mary Trump agreed with Rachel's analysis that lying is a perverse pleasure for Donald Trump, and Mary Trump added another psychological motivation for Donald Trump's lying and why he must be surrounded by people in the White House. In her interview, that Donald Trump experiences pleasure and was experiencing pleasure in that lying, which would certainly be one important reason why he can't stop doing it. It might be the only pleasure left in his life at this point.
And now here we are. I see that it's now a hashtag. Republicans don't care. And I suppose it would be because of the latest extreme uncaringness that they're all on vacation while they didn't get the bill passed that would give Americans some relief from this pandemic. This has got to be the most blatant case of Republicans not caring. Let's see some of the tweets that people were tweeting. Rand Paul said, most Americans don't need a check. Well, he said worse than that. That might be almost true. He doesn't want to give anyone any money. Let them eat cake. 1/3 people dead. We're getting there. Economy on life support. Millions of lives destroyed. Yeah, what about the people still alive? They don't care about either one. Dems have had a relief bill for 6 months that Mitch, Republican, will not sign. Trump is golfing in Florida, far away from Washington. Pence is skiing. Be best. They've always been like this, but now it's just so clear. So will things change now? Will people vote any differently? Meet the rotten meat. A lot of the worst Republicans, senators, people in Congress, they were reelected. So things aren't going to change much. We will have to wait another 2 years and hope people remember. I don't know what that means. There I am. I've been talking about it for years. I had forgotten. I don't even remember making a video about Giuliani over a year ago. And speaking of Republicans winning a lot of congressional races this year, everyone is forgetting that Republicans cheat every election.
Well, the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%. Gee, what happened?
There's Trump's lawyer there. Wasn't that a good use of a clip taken out of context? But here's what happened. Republicans cheat before the election. They have cheating in place. It's systemic. I'm talking about things like gerrymandering and making it harder for poor people who vote Democratic to vote. And the reason why no one's bringing this up is because we're all talking about all the other stuff about Trump claiming fraud because he lost. See, it's only because Joe Biden won the election that no one needs to be talking about how Republicans have cheating in place. And so it's not being brought up. It's just perfect for Republicans.
You've been hearing me say it's a rigged system, but now I don't say it anymore because I won. Okay, it's true. Now I don't care. I don't care.
New pain for the unemployed. Their COVID benefits have run out.
The president's still refusing to sign the bill,
cutting benefits for some 12 million Americans.
The U.S. death toll surpassed 330,000.
Millions more could be put out of their homes in January. The federal eviction moratorium is the next major program to expire on New Year's Eve.
Today, the images that we have of the President of the United States is him on the golf course.
But he had time to hand out Christmas gifts to dozens of allies and loyalists in the form of controversial presidential pardons.
Exactly. We keep saying vote them out, but we're not doing that. We vote in Trump, and then we vote in some QAnon person. These crazy people are not going to help.
People are dying every day. There are states in this country that are absolutely out of control. And to curry favor with Donald, certain governors are continuing to ignore the science, and more people are getting sick and more people are going to die. It is utterly insane at this point. We need to wake up.
All right, give me a thumbs up or down and subscribe to this channel because I bring you the goods. And I've been bringing the political goods since 2016. Go back and search my channel. You'll see a whole bunch of high quality, unique, powerful stuff.